A ramen restaurant just started an OnlyFans. A porch possum just stole some cookies, and it must be cold in space because the moon is shrinking. Yeah, we've got some strange ones coming your way today on your news refresh. So first, subscribe to @TheNewsRefresh on YouTube to get all sorts of new, weird, and interesting news stories each and every day. Thanks. Okay, so let's kick things off with some chopsticks, spoons, and private browsing.
Just a fun way of engaging. It's not trying to be too crazy.
I'll let you be the judge of that. That's the owner of Ninja Ramen, and he's got a bold new idea to help save his struggling business. Hot noods. No, not the ones you immediately tried to Google there, pervert. Ninja Ramen is a noodle restaurant, and our owner here is simply taking to the internet to solicit the hottest nudes he can find. Yeah, what? Okay, so Ninja Ramen isn't doing great. The other day on Instagram, the restaurant owner posted this letter explaining that their business in Houston has been down. Not only have people been spending less, the letter says, but the restaurant has been making only 80% of its pre-pandemic numbers. And even after raising prices on ramen by 50 cents 3 years ago, in the last 18 months, costs have gone up 18%. So naturally, this restaurant is trying to make some changes. No, they're not installing a John Taffer butt funnel, but they are letting locals know they're lowering bar prices on Asian whiskeys, reminding diners they carry a good egg, and highlighting a rotation of new menu items and special events. But item 5 on this little letter here is perhaps the most tantalizing. Hot nudes.
Wanted to start a OnlyFans and say, hey, we're gonna post our nudes and just pictures of people being creative with their noodles.
So yes, with your consent of course, our professional restaurateur turned amateur pornographer will transform your desire for a spicy hot noodle dish into Ashikawa broth-based smut through pictures of you eating their hot nudes. I of course wanted to see exactly what they have in mind here. So, I signed up for an OnlyFans account using my work email. I never got a confirmation though, which probably means it got caught by the company's IT and I'll probably get in trouble. So then, I made a fake email address using my personal iCloud account, but then they needed a credit card, on which they placed a 10-cent charge, which is not very much money, but now something I have to explain to my wife if she takes a look at my statement. It's kinda hard to explain to anyone why you only spent 10 cents on OnlyFans. Anyway, after being recommended a menu of some slightly different content, I arrived at OnlyFans.com/Ninja Ramen. And once I was in, I was greeted by exactly one post, said to be our best, first, and only hot nude submission from the other day. And yes, we've pixelated anything that might be considered objectionable in this photo, even the eggs, just to be safe. Now, just to be clear, the owner of this ramen joint is not soliciting adult content. In spite of this first photo, which isn't necessarily objectionable, we just don't want YouTube getting mad at us when we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. He just wants shots of people eating hot nudes.
Like in this stock footage that we've set to steamy music with a modulated, sultry voice.
As noted on Instagram, the owner didn't quite know how to ask for help in an elegant manner here. He's just trying to appeal to Houston's sense of kinship to help save his restaurant. And hey, what better way to encourage locals to slurp up some ramen than by laying down a thirst trap? Getting stuff stolen off your porch happens all the time. Security.org says that 44% of all Americans have had a package stolen at some point. And 17% of those people, 44 million of us, has had something swiped in just the past 3 months. Perhaps that's why so many Americans have chosen to deploy doorbell and surveillance cameras on their property. Not necessarily because they want to unwittingly help enable the proliferation of a mass surveillance state, but because they don't want their birthday cookies taken off their doorstep. That's what's going on here in this recent footage from a home not too far from the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. Right there on the porch, that's a cookie delivery intended for a teen boy's birthday. But I say intended because right now, yep, a possum, not opossum, but a possum, makes its way to the doormat. After sniffing around the cookie box for a moment, he, or she, grabs the thing by its teeth and after a brief struggle, manages to make off with a box of birthday treats. The next morning, the family laid eyes on the scene of the crime in the front yard and played this security footage back to confirm their darkest fears. The cookie place shared this video on Instagram and wrote, in the possum's defense, it was their birthday too, which, as of press time, your news refresh was unable to independently verify. While the video caption noted, reward for information leading to arrest. In the comments, Bacillo Bowler 300 noted, I'm no snitch. CNY Willis MS said, first come, first serve. And Fat Texas Shepherd claims he has a warrant in Forney, Texas, which, according to the Forney, Texas information site, was designated Texas's antique capital by the state legislature in 1987. Cool. The cookie delivery place offered to replace these birthday treats for free, which is very nice. And in case you think this teen should be worried about a follow-up from the Cookie Monster, don't bother. These days he appears to be more into chilaquiles. Oh, one more thing. The moon is shrinking. You know, the moon, that thing up there covered in flags, golf balls, and 96 bags of human waste. Well, scientists have known for years that the circumference of that thing hitting your eye like a large Italian dish has shrunk by around 150 feet over the past million years and change. And according to a new study funded by NASA, this lunar shrinkage has to do in part with the moon's core, which is cooling and causing the moon's surface to shrivel up like a grape becoming a raisin. And no, this isn't making the moon man up there burst into rhythm and blues. It's contributing to moonquakes and landslides in regions of the moon once believed to be seismically inactive. Yes, I said moonquakes. The strongest of which ever recorded is what CNN says was the equivalent of a 5.0 magnitude earthquake back here on Earth. And you thought insurance here was expensive. Now, it's not believed that this study's findings will impact the region for the Artemis 3 moon landing mission, which could happen as soon as 2026. But it does mean that humans in the future may need to take care with where sites are selected for a long-term human presence on the moon. Because if a moonquake strikes a human settlement, it could trigger landslides and destroy everything that's there. The type of terrifying thing that might make an astronaut produce a 97th bag of human waste.